Great sun rising. Welcome, 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 family. Welcome all. Welcome one. Welcome one. And welcome all. I'm back. I'm back, family. After my long week of censorship, and not only censorship, but shadow banning on my other channel, I am back. I'm back. And I'm going to do things a little differently. Like I said before, I got a video camera coming back, and I think I'm going to go back to my old ways. Well, it's not really necessarily an old way, but it's going to be more outdoors, more phenomenons. We're going to look at. We're going to dig into some things. We're going to go some places. That's what we're going to do. It's kind of like, I guess we could say we're getting back into Skywatch. Some Skywatch, some outdoors stuff, and adventures and research. Okay. So today is the beginning of what real freedom is for us. This is the first day of this. I don't know how long I'm going to go on this real freedom thing, but I guess until people get the idea of what I'm trying to say. Because the other day I ran into a man, a brother, and we both served in the service. And we got to talking, and I was talking, you know, how my conversations would easily ease into spirituality. So for him, it was religion. And he happened to be a PhD studier in religion currently. So he said he's back in school getting his PhD in that. So we got into conversation, and he immediately, when I was talking about the spirit, the unseen, bodiless noise and smells that I experienced in Hawaii in the car, he immediately said Satan. And I had said, no, back up. Ain't no Satan. And it was hard for me to really communicate to him what that Satan was about and what demons are about. Because we've been taught one way, and obviously we've been taught one way. But I will tell you this, I got a little peek into his thinking, because when I was conversating with him and telling him my thinking, he told me I was on an island of my own and there would be no people could understand me. And, you know, I said, well, you know, I understand that people don't have every piece of knowledge, of this knowledge. So when you're missing out, you may have the knowledge of the Bible. That is not enough, is what I'm trying to say. I can't communicate with someone who just has Bible knowledge from a surface point of view. So they're not going to get anything that anybody says. It could be what I say. It could be what anybody else says. They're not going to get all that science, because he summed me up. He says, I was getting into racism. So I told him, I said, so you're telling me that I got an ankle bracelet on my hand, on my ankles, and you telling me if I step out of this box that I'm a racist, that I'm actually participating in a race? and you're going to send the white police popos to come and get me because I've stepped over the boundaries. I stepped into racism because what I got him saying is, heal, 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 stop. You're going across a line that you're not supposed to go across. Like a typical preacher in the Black community, they are the gatekeepers to make sure we stay behind the gate and that we don't participate and compete and that we don't race with those who are racing against us. You see what I'm saying? That we stay still. See, that ain't gonna work. You should never have to stay still in a race when someone's racing against you. When someone asks for competition, we give them competition. You either do or die. You either lose or win. Those are your choices. So he kept saying that, I say things from the Bible, but I don't admit that I get it from the Bible. He had me all wrong. And I let him know he had me all wrong. This happened at the gym, right? So I let him know he had me all wrong, that I do utilize the scriptures, because what people don't see is there's a disease and then there's a cure. See, the disease for us as a people is a disease for all life on earth. The cure is the cure for all life on the earth. What we have to do is we need to examine our cure, because we are the cure. If we're looking at the disease, the surface of the Bible, moralism, a God that's outside of us that cannot do anything but be supreme, try to attempt to reign supreme, but damage everything and destroy everything. It goes back to when I was saying, you have a big dog. You have a big mean dog, a bulldog, okay, or a pit bull, okay? They're mean and big. They got the stature. They got the stature. You got the teeny dog. You got the teeny dog. He has to bark harder because he ain't got a bite. So he got to prove to you he got to make you scared of him. Where the big dog, just by the stature of the big dog and the demeanor, the face, he could be sweet as can be, but he comes with expectations. We have expectations of big dogs that look mean. We expect them to maul us down, right? So the little dog, we don't expect much from, but he's going to bark, and he's going to bark because he doesn't got what it takes. So he's got to prove to you that he's supreme over you. This is life. And then a lot of us lay down and we allow it. So this is Real Freedom Part 1. This is a brother's video that I'm utilizing. I'm going to utilize 2 of his videos to get the point across. Like I said, it's amazing. I'm not the only one speaking. I'm not the only one with the knowledge. I'm not the only one. And it's a hard knowledge to really come across to people, especially when they're brainwashed and programmed. But one thing I did tell the guy, I said, I gave him this scenario. I said, my mother has white Jesus on the wall. She is into Christianity just like he is. My family is almost whited out. Most of their grandchildren could pass for white. So you tell me that I'm bordering on racism. What do you think I see in my life and in the world? Let's get into it.
Ni kutumia hiari yako kungabe kukhona okusebenzisa inkululeko yakho yokusikethela na. Watatu is who is using your free will. Let us look at this under the following subtitles. What is free will? The biology, genetics, and neuroscience on free will. Psychologists' perception on free will. The missing dimension on free will. Our traditional understanding of free will and cultural congruence concerning a free will.
Used to perform a simple hand movement when they felt like it. He also got them to record the time at which they made a conscious decision to move their hands. Disconcertingly, he found evidence of brain activity initiating the movement hundreds of milliseconds before the conscious decision was reported. In other words, his experiments seemed to show that the conscious decision didn't cause the movement. The brain activity bringing about movement started before the individual willed anything to happen. Some people think this is proof that free will is an illusion, that our conscious decisions are more like reports on what is already happening than the causes of our action. Libet didn't go that far. He thought that we might not have free will, but there's still time for what some have called free won't, a conscious veto of an action that is started in the brain. Others are more skeptical about the implications of these experiments. They point out difficulties of recording the time of a subjective decision to move, and question whether Libet's findings could apply to more complex conscious decisions based on reasons, such as the decision to reject the claim that Libet's experiments undermine our idea of free will.
Hi, I'm Rex Moore with the Motley Fool in front of BMW's self-driving exhibit at CES in Las Vegas. Now, have you ever wondered how to invest in this revolutionary technology? Well, I'm going to give you the top 5 things that you might want to know about.
Will.
Let us define free will first. Free will is a philosophical term describing the inherent or supposed intrinsic capacity within a rational agent to choose their preferred course of action from many various alternatives. Philosophers have debated this question for thousands of years, but have not reached any definite conclusions about it. The simple questions are: who has this free will? Who is using it? And for what purpose are they using it? Some suggest that the answer lies in the subconscious mind, specifically the subconscious beliefs. So, what does biology and genetics or neuroscience say about it? Modern genetics and neuroscience deny that we are free-willed entities. They insist that our bodies and minds exist as carriers for our genes to enable them to survive and replicate. Everything we do is determined by and is on behalf of our genes. We are product of an accident they call evolution. Our moods, our desires, and our behaviors are determined by the levels of various chemical reactions that occur in our brain, such as serotonin or dopamine, or by the automatic activation of neuronal networks which predispose you to a certain trait or impulses. If you feel depressed, it is because of low level of serotonin. If you are psychopathic, it is because areas of your ventromedial frontal cortex are less active than normal. What is the root of these assaults on our autonomy in terms of free will? Why do intellectuals and scientists feel such a strong bias and impulse to show us that we are powerless, that we are controlled by forces that are beyond our own ability to manage or control them. Why is this desire to deny our power so prevalent? Psychologists have also their own perception of free will. They tell us that environment as well as genes pretty much determine what we think and what we decide and how we exercise our own free will. But who is the architect of this environment? Is he or she also free from their own free will? Why do intellectuals and scientists feel so strong to show us that we are powerless? Why is it that they want us to believe that inside our mental space there is no one there, that our sense of self is just an illusion, which itself is a mere side effect of neurological processes? If you believe this, and if this is part and parcel of your understanding, then obviously and definitely you have no free will. But our ancestors taught us that we should know ourselves, know thyself. And also they say that the kingdom of heaven is within you, and whosoever shall know himself shall find it. Marcus Garvey, one of the greatest thinkers of our modern times, admonished us to use our thinking, to use and resurrect our brains, so that we, irrespective of what the world thinks, we will be able to become a race of respect. Now, tucked away from the masses, some popular neuroscientific ideas about the limitations of free will are being contradicted by neuroscience itself. For instance, a recent research has shown that rather than being fixed or hardwired, our brain structure is very flexible and soft-wired, that is capable of changing and adapting. Psychology suggests we have innate potentials and characteristics that are independent of external factors, even if this aspect of us may be so obscured from us that we can barely see it. Therefore, this question of free will is a missing dimension. Even the definition of what is free will must be modified by adding whose free will. The word will itself is of Germanic origin, in Old English and Dutch, and comes from Weiland, which evolved to will, and also it is a vale coming from Indo-European root in Latin, which is will or wish. Wishes okufuna nuwe, yari mazrokuda, nuwele onwe imen horo. So, from Ubuntu Ma'ati consciousness, we determine that the Western exploration of free will does not define fully the agent in whom the matter is to be exercised. Who or what is a human being that has a free will, or that is free will? Our understanding of free will comes from the understanding of the soul. In other words, the soul is a single composite. Therefore, the soul is a single composite being of different entities, each of which has its own role in this journey of life. The mistake of modernists is zeroing in on a single trait or a single organ, and by that define the soul or human or free will. The human soul is composed of 9 main components. We give the code Kabab Kat, Kai Bitikuku, Shekem Sahurein. Men and divinities contain the same components, but the divinity, their components have already been divinized, and ours are in the process of being formed.
I actually put this on my tees, the 9 aspects of the soul. So you can get a t-shirt with the 9 aspects of the soul.
Being divinized. So we possess a physical body, which must keep in perfect health by our own free will and our own volition. We should learn and study our own body. It's called the kati. A soul, or a bar, or a car, a heart, which is not only the physical heart, as we will demonstrate later. A car, an intelligence, which is ku or aku, shekem or shadow kaibiti, or the spiritual body, sa or sahu, and your name, a secret name, not the common name that you are given, but your secret name. The divinities also have their secret names. The true knowledge of the soul is the missing dimension in all the explanations that have been given. We want to quote from the book of Parutemaore, spell 64, the first 3 spells. Says, I am yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and I have the power to be born a second time. I am the divine hidden soul who created the gods and gives sepulchral meals to the denizens of the deep ocean, Amenta or Duat, the place of the dead and heaven. Hail, Lord of the shrine that stands in the center of the earth. He is I, and I am he. Now, who is speaking here? The divine spark, the only element which is shared between the divinities and inside a human being that does not need your development. You don't have to develop this entity. It is the Ku or the Ak or the Aku. The free will resides in some elements, not in one element, but in some elements that constitute you. If you cannot separate that and think of it as unitary, then you've got big issues. So we're going picking a few of these elements, 3 moral agent components. The Kati, which refers to the physical body. This is where science, biology, epigenetics and genetics, and many other studies have zeroed in on and spent all their life for the last 300 years looking at. The Kati, the body. Hence, the brain and all its associated functions has been studied in and out. But it is in this Kati, the whole body, from the hair to the soles of your feet, that the soul manages to ride and move on the earth, can or chin on two. Then the ab, which is the heart or belly, the solar plexus. Then the ka and the ba, these are the vital essences of a person that distinguishes them from being alive or dead. The shekem is a kind of life energy of the soul. Can call it spirit, that will also suit. This is the energy. The shekem is present in the afterlife, after judgment has been passed, and the soul is considered worthy to go into the afterlife. These all exercise free will to a certain degree, to a certain extent. Their type and specificities of free will are totally different from what scientists have given you. Moyo wakaipa. The heart dominates when it comes to free will in our Ubuntu Maati traditions. Most people do not know that. Most modern languages have only one word for the heart, whereas Bantus have many words for the heart. The known ones are Ab and Khati. One denotes the physical heart, either of people or of animals, and the Ab is used metaphorically and in association to intellectual thoughts, emotions, feelings, intelligence, conscience, desire, memory, satisfaction, sentiment, taste, stomach, and all the other things that we desire. This, if you cannot control this, someone else is controlling your will. Now, Anubis here, where is the heart of the deceased? This is symbolic of the physical heart that you have, but it is on the earth. Something else has been taken from this, and it is now being weighed. This is a spiritual level. This is not physical level. When you see this diagram, you must understand it on a spiritual level or next dimensional level. If you understand this as the ring feather, and this is the real thing, you are missing the point. Now, who controls your emotions is using your free will. Your heart must be pure from deep inside your desire. These are the teachings of Tao Te, the oldest book in the world. We quote some things from there. The instruction of Tao Te dedicates whole maxims to the expression of the heart. Follow your heart during the time of your existence on earth with wisdom, not in ignorance. If you follow your heart, just like that, you are going to lose it. Remember what we said, you will be judged. So follow your heart using Maati. And do not do more than not to tend towards everyday events. Do not be overly stressed. Beyond setting up your house, happy living. do not neglect the chance to follow the heart, your conscience, since to waste its moment is what the car hates. As things happen, follow the heart, for there is no profit when the heart is abused. Therefore, what he's saying is, you must follow your heart in good conscience with guidance and doing good. There is an external car, we might call it subconscious, associated with the placenta, and which is a person's double, higher self, since it could be represented in murals and statues. This feature is one of the overlapping points between the internal car and the external car. These assist in decision making when your heart doesn't have a clear say. Therefore, these are your intuitive tools. So you need your intuition to use your free will. Now, if you do not use your aspects of the soul, others take the opportunity to use them as their energy generators. So our ancestors knew that 1,300 years ago. They knew about the Ba. In 900 BC, they knew about the Ba in Nigeria. It's very clear, no distinction there. The Ba is mentioned as being part of the individual during life in the epilogue of the instruction of Tao Tepi, Tao Tupo. It is the wise man, literally one who knows. You see now what we are saying now? So you need to use both as you walk on the earth. That helps his Ba through what perpetuates his goodness in him on earth. So that's goodness. When you say follow the heart, it's goodness. It's your decisions. If you are not following the heart, what are you following? From the foregoing discussion, a man's moral conscience is formed by several components, the most important of which is the heart. That is a huge role in human nature and moral character. The car and the Ba do not actively participate in volition, the process of decision making, but they play a huge role in our interaction with creativity, imagination, prayer, and thinking. So we have moved from the heart to the brain via the car and the Ba. So if you do not use your heart and you do not use your brain, you are not using your will, and someone else is using it. The deterministic intervention that is proposed by psychologists and other people that are discussing free will is also featured in the book of Tao Tupo, where we learn that we have the power to invite them, the divinities, or stop them, the divinities, from divine intervention, either in determination or control of fate. So if we have the power to stop the divinities, what more of any other entities on earth? Which means our power is massive in terms of our will. Therefore, your willpower is the most powerful tool that you have within yourself to push away the government, the police, other religions, and all these things that are occurring on the earth. Affliction will be requited in kind, and every deed committed has its consequence. So do not forget these sayings of Tao Te. Therefore, we are responsible on how our free will is used by us or otherwise, even if we are possessed by another spirit, or we suffer from mental health, or we are deceived. So the responsibility is yours. The situations where God intervenes directly on the individual rather than just influencing his surroundings or environment are very, very rare. Therefore, it is your will and your power to invite the divinities in your life. Now, how do you do that? By living a way of life we call cultural congruence. So, cultural congruent free will. Use your free will as a cultural congruent connector. Hopefully, this will help male and dominant humans to realize the incredible potential of free will inside them, as well as the deadly potential of free will thieves. The only challenge here is that free will comes with a cost of choice. It is always people with a misplaced choice that suffer and complain that there is no free will. We ought to remember that our free will is limitless free will. In whatever you decide to do, take a bit of time and choose wisely. It might save you a lot of hell on earth. To determine if you are using your free will, ask yourself the following: are my beliefs culturally congruent? If you are a Christian, you are not cultural congruent. If you are a Muslim, you are not cultural congruent. If you are reading other holy books, you are not culturally congruent. You are lost. Your free will is no longer yours. If you are worshipping European male deities or white Arabs or anything else other than following a cultural congruent, free-willed direction, you are in another bus going somewhere else. Subscribe to our channel, Habit Brew Ethics. This preacher Rabbi Ellen Dumizu saying, let us exercise our free will to become culturally congruent, melanin dominant humans. Still meet again, Tatenda Siabonga. The question is,
All right, family. Now let's get into the next video. Let's get into the next video.
this preacher Rabbi Ellen Dumizu presenting the topic, not God, but gods. Apologies in our use of the pronoun he or God. In this presentation, it is only for convenience since we are using English. Tunaomba radhi katika matumizi yetu ya kiwakilishi yeye au Mungu ni kwa urahisi tu, kwani tunatumia Kiingereza. Theology has lost its credit. It has failed to honorably tackling hard questions like, where did the knowledge about a God come from? Why does a loving God allow pain, war, and destruction on earth and in the universe? Perhaps the dominating perception of who and what is God is wrong. We shall proffer some 5 proofs to substantiate our accusation or our facts in this argument. First, who and what is God? We must first settle the meaning of the noun God. From the web site given here at Online, word God, also God spelled with a capital G, which does not change anything actually. In Old English, God, a supreme being, deity, the Christian God, image of a God, godlike person. This is from Proto-Germanic Guthan, source also of Old Saxony, Old Frisian, Dutch, God, Old High German, Gott, or spelled God with G-O-T-T, Old Norse, Gad, Gothic, Gap, which is of a uncertain origin, perhaps from Proto-Indo-European language, Gat, that which is invoked. Source also of Old Czech Slavonic Zovo, to call, or Sanskrit Bhuta, invoked, an epithet of Indra, from the root gewe, to call or to invoke. But what you have to know also is that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had a wife known as Asherah. You can read this book. Obviously, we know that it represented also his feminine aspect or feminine partner. The notion of all this is that of a divine entity that is summoned to a sacrifice. Clearly, the creator is not God. God, obviously, here is a European now, gradually and deceptively now taken for granted by billions to refer to the creator. This is proof number 1. Now, where Jesus also features as God, and the God of Israel represent various spiritual divinities. So God had a wife too. This cannot be what we believe in or what we follow. And the God of Israel is an ancestral deity. The melanin dominant people have divinities. In metaphysics, we have to find more of these issues.
This unforgettable vacation memory, it didn't actually begin here. This memory began when Mom booked her family's summer vacation early on Verbally. Book early, cancel it.
Proof number 2. The ultimate issue is that God, the one we are talking about, of which we have apologized already, is not the creator. From our book, given here, the creator or God, understand it, we have this question of whether God is indeed a spirit or a physical being, and it was answered adequately and clearly by pointing out that God as a European term applicable to deities cannot apply to the creator. The creator, and the best we can do is that is a nameless one. The creator is not God. For anything or any entity that is summoned to a sacrifice is not the creator, but God with a small.
Remember what I said. Science explains everything. Science can't go wrong with science. Science does not determine the European as being correct in his or her assessment of things. Science, a lot of times, is manipulated by the Europeans. But the truth is always in the science. The truth is always in the mathematics.
G or God with a capital G. The proof is everywhere where they want sacrifices. The creator is not a being or a spirit. In the Torah, in the Bible, the chief of these deities was given the name Elohim, hidden by the noun God by translators and scholars and theologians and many, many other thinkers. So Elohim, the God of the Bible, is not the creator, because even in the same Bible we understand that he is a verse in Psalms 82 verse 6 which says, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. So these are divinities.
So when I brought this up to the man at the gym, the PhD dude, he said, oh, that's about something else. But it's clear what it is about. But because he is trained in the Europeans' understanding, who he also, when I told him the black man and black woman, or the Nubian man and Nubian woman were the creators of the universities, he denied that. And then I said, who is the creator of the universities? He says, according to a book that he read, but he didn't ever tell me who he felt was the creator of the university. So therefore, he would not have no kind of an understanding or understanding or outerstanding or overstanding of ye are gods. But I had to break it down for him and let him know that you're the God. And then I said, look yourself in the mirror and ask some questions. I said, I kind of forgot what I said. That's kind of bad, but you have to ask questions, you know. It's very important. And you will know the important questions to ask. I can't get into it because my mind is not there anymore, okay?
That are spoken of here, and the council of the gods and the council of divinities. In any case, the word Elohim is a plural word, which is a singular El or Eloha. It comes from the Canaanite El. That's where you also get Allah and many other cognates around it. Eloha is the singular form of Elohim, which is singular form of God. The Bible is a misleading authority in regards to the ancient Hebrew gods or Elohim. They are mentioned therein around 2,000 times. Capture that, 2,000 times. But nearly all translators and biblical commentators for nearly 2,000 years have mistakenly or deliberately and intentionally chosen in almost every instance to convert them into a singular God, or a combination of so-called divine names. That implies that one Hebrew God rules the universe, which is a lie from the perspective of the Torah as well as the Old Testament and the Bible. These cannot be sustained. We give more proof about this. Let's give more proof. Oxford professor of Assyriology, A.H. says, also verified the plurality of Elohim. In his learned and courageous declaration, he openly maintained the following: Elohim is a plural noun, and its employment in the Old Testament as a singular has given rise to a large amount of learned discussion, and it must also be added of a learned want of common sense. Grammarians have been in the habit of evading difficulty by describing it as pluralis majestatis. I used to teach that it was the plural of majesty, or something similar, as if a term in common use which was grammatically a plural could ever have come to be treated as a singular, unless this singular had once been plural. We can construe the word means with a singular verb, but nevertheless, there was once a time when means was a plural noun. This is more proof that gods, not God, is all that now deceives billions of melanin-dominant humans' minds and almost the majority of humanity on the earth. It is only the African traditional religion that had never had an image of an entity they called is the creator. Not even in any circumstance can you find it. But as of deities, you can find a lot of them. The 7 African powers you can find everywhere. Africans' original religion was nature. Orisha, Hermetic, and other tribal rituals and the philosophies were all based on nature. And once nature was reduced to paganism by Christianity, Judaism, and all these other religions, the world went against the Africans and nature. You can see by the technology that is there on earth today, that the ultimate creator that all others think that they can cave and make and draw was never a conceptualization of ancient melanin dominant human beings all over the earth. They never worshipped that one. Now, let's give more proof. Number 3, the nameless one is neither a being nor a spirit. The creator has only one attribute, not 2 or infinity, but only one. And that attribute is bringing into existence things that never existed before or nothing. No human has ever created anything. Only the nameless creator creates. That is his only or their only or its only attribute. Let's understand that. The only attribute of the creator is bringing things into existence that never existed before or nothing. And this is a very difficult concept to grasp or to understand. But you need your inner soul to go to the chasm and try to hold on to this philosophy. So the creator is not a being or a spirit. So those that say God, that you cannot dispute metaphysically, but you can diffuse by faith or by your belief. Here is the key that you have to understand here. The creator, our ancestors considered to be not a spirit or a being, remote. And between the creator and everything else is a chasm, mukaha, umbosha, pengo. You can never go across that. No human being has ever crossed that, even metaphysically. It's something else. And therefore, this is the conceptualization that our ancestors had. That's why they had to use intermediaries from the realm of humanity and things, the third dimension, across the fourth dimension and fifth dimension, into the next dimension about pants, the living dead, and the spirits, impersonalized or created spirits, and then deal with them in the hope that they are able to pass on their message beyond. So that's a fact. Buttressing fact number 3, that God, not God, for all of melanin dominant human beings. So fact number 4, which is very, very interesting, is that the real creator needs no human worship or praise. The creator is longing for your worship. Is that so? It's a fallacy. The Almighty, the creator of our ancestor, just because we use the title as attribute, Almighty or creator, should never be understood as if he or she or it needs our support, our love, our worship, or our obedience, or our songs, or our music, or our creation. Never, not in a minute. The popular picture of a Nevias ingratiating creator fawning over men, or dying on a cross painfully to win the favor of men is wrong and erroneous. Yet if we look at the popular conception of the creator, that is precisely what we have been trained to imagine or to think. 20th century people have put the creator on charity. So lofty is our opinion of ourselves that we find it quite easy that we can command the creator, that we can command him to do something, to heal people, to bless us, or to do anything. Not to say enjoyable, to believe that we are necessary to the creator. We are not. We are not. Grasp that. You can get all the extrapolations and explanations from the book The Creator or God. In a stand, you can get it from Amazon, or you can give us a shout and we'll send you the book. Number 5, failure to change human nature. So if the creator is all-knowing, is all good, is all powerful, why is human nature still behaving the way it is behaving? One would think that with 2.5 billion Christians, which is about 34% of the world's population, 1.8 billion Muslims, about 24%, making these two religions over 50% of the Earth's population, peace and tranquility will prevail. But alas, it is chaos, war, and bloodbaths. Their record tells the truth about their spirituality. Our memories are still fresh. Enslavement and colonization by Islam, as well as Christianity. So if you close your eyes to facts, you learn through accidents. That's what happened to us. That's why we were colonized. That's why we were enslaved. That's why we ditched our own belief systems. Because we closed our eyes to facts and we were deceived. So there is nothing there with God or gods or our divinities. Now, you must realize that you are a Muntu, you are a Bantu, and that is your identity and that is your power. You are a distinctly created creature with two natures, a higher nature, which is your soul, and a lower nature, which is your flesh, bones, and blood. A spiritual and a sensual, a divine and a human, a mortal and an immortal, and finally, a fiery and a watery entity conjoined in a mutual relationship in the organic body of the flesh. You are a divine spark hidden in matter. Arise and come out of that. How? First, you must know thyself. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. Teach them. A person who knows not and believes that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. A person who knows and knows not that they know is asleep. Awake them. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. follow them. All of these persons reside inside you. Know thyself, and the Ma'ati will be true in your life. Not God, but gods. In summary, proof number 1. The noun God is a sellout key. You name it, you own it. The real creator is nameless. Amen. The hidden one. Proof number 2. The ultimate issue, God or the creator, anything you can conceptualize and then worship or sacrifice to is a deity. So not God, but gods. Proof 3, the nameless one is neither a being nor a spirit. Spirit is created, so too is being. You can fully conceptualize spirit and use spirit and command spirit, but you cannot command the creator with your mental capacity or in this lifetime. Never, never, ever. You might think you are, but a deity is playing tricks on you. Number 4, the creator is longing for your worship. This is wrong. The creator does not need anything from you, worship or no worship. Anything you can praise, anything you can worship, anything you can love, anything you can hate, anything you can curse is an entity. It's not the creator, it's a created thing. You've already conceptualized it in your head. For your mind is too tiny to conceptualize the real creator who is nameless and beyond being and spirit. The last point we have presented here is failure to change human nature, because the creator is remote. The divinities and ancestors know that we have power within us, inside us, to deal with the circumstances, even to the point of death. So know thyself. That's the key that we have to grasp. Do not be deceived by the Elohim or other divinities that are not yours. I'm thanking you for stopping by, because the most critical question of this hour is who and what is God. Our book, The Creator or God Understand It, does a lot of justice to this topic in our understanding. So join the club, join the clan, join Marifado, ilifa letu, Nakayedu, uritu wetu, our inheritance. Subscribe to our channel, Kamiti Iburu Ethics. This preacher Rabbi Elem Dumizulu saying we are rebuilding our greatness. Join us today. Our email is given here, join@marifado.com. You can also find out how historical truisms turbocharges your consciousness today by sending us an email, and also by visiting our website www.marifado.com. Thank you, Salani Katle. This preacher Rabbi Elem Dumizulu saying, do not.
Peace, family, peace, and thank you all for being here. Till next time.